It's April with the Average Crusaders, and just time to have a little Saturday chat. Call this part of my Heartstrings videos, I guess. So, if you're like me, you've become addicted to watching the story about Punch, the little monkey from Japan. If you haven't seen the videos yet, please look them up because they are just too adorable for words. But the story of this monkey is that he was abandoned by his mom, and he was brought to this zoo, and when he got to the zoo, all the other monkeys bullied him. They didn't want to accept him into their tribe, so they would push him around, they would throw him around, they would leave him out in the rain, you know, they wouldn't take care of him. So the zookeepers gave him this little orange stuffed orangutan monkey thing. And he fucking fell in love with this thing. He held it, he slept with it, he cuddled with it, he cleaned it, he would try to pick the fleas off of it. He made it his family. And you know, he eventually wormed his way in. He eventually got his way into the tribe. Monkeys are starting to accept him. He's got a protector now. But through watching this monkey and the story develop, and there were times where he would just cry at the way this monkey was being treated, and then you'd see him just holding on to this monkey, the stuffed monkey, for like just every ounce of comfort he could, and he looked so sad, and it would touch your heartstrings, and I cried so many times watching these videos. I cry every time I watch these videos. It's just so sweet. But the thing of it is, as touching as it is, and as much as I'm addicted to it and I can't stop watching it, and I know all of you feel the same way out there. Everyone who has seen this story has been touched. They've cried. They've, you know, wanted to support this monkey. They've wanted to help this monkey. They, you know, donated money. They've donated, you know, more stuffed animals. They're doing what they can to support this monkey because they feel it's justified. His story is justified. What's sad is that as many people as this story is touching, the fact that humans, that real people, are going through just as bad circumstances or worse. They are being ousted by their communities. They are not being protected by the people that are supposed to protect them. They are being abused. You know, people can watch Old Yeller and cry because the dog died, but they feel it was some people, and I'm not saying all, and I'm not casting judgment or aspersions on anybody, but you know, I've seen the comments online. People were not sad that Renee Good died or Alex Peretti died. They feel it was justified. How can you be sad and cry over animals, but feel people don't deserve the same respect, the same treatment, that they shouldn't be treated like animals in a zoo, that we shouldn't be shoving them in cages and leaving them to their own devices, that we should be trying to help and support them? I think we need to step up. We need to take the caring that we have for animals and transfer it to people, because people matter. People, they're just trying to survive. They're just trying to get through life the best way they can. People have come here to the United States because we were supposed to be a place of safety. We were supposed to be a place of opportunity. Bring us your weak. Bring us your sick. We will help. We will take care of you. That's not the way it is anymore, guys. And it's going drastically downhill fast, and we're letting it happen. People don't believe what's happening. They believe the hype that they're being fed. We just attacked Iran last night, for God's sakes. We just started a war that we didn't have to be in for no reason. It could have been avoided. It could have been avoided. We've pissed off the UN. We make a mockery of everything that we used to stand for as a country. We're letting pedophiles roam free. We're not prosecuting the people that need to be prosecuted. We're making a show of bringing in people like Hillary Clinton, who is, even if she was implicated somehow in the Epstein files by being related to Bill Clinton, she is the bottom of the people that should have been interviewed. The people at the top, those are the ones that need to be brought in, but those are the ones being protected. And you all, well, not you all, I'm not going to say you all, but you know what I mean? We're just letting it happen. We're believing when they tell us things are great. I don't know about you. I don't know if you guys have filed your taxes yet. I filed mine. Tyler's filed his. And I am getting less money. Because I now make too much money to qualify for any of the tax breaks, which, let me tell you, it is still not a livable wage in this day's time. Tyler, who is filing as a single man, no children because his is past the age, did not qualify for the earned income tax because he made more than $19,000. Who, besides possibly a teenager working a part-time job, is not going to make $19,000? Let that sink in. $19,000 for a year in order to get the earned income tax credit. I've gotten it every year up until this year. Every year I have gotten it. When I was married, when I've been separated, when I was single. I've gotten it since it's become a thing. But this year, I didn't qualify. Tyler didn't qualify. I'm sure there's many of you out there who also did not qualify. But yeah, things are great. You can believe the politicians when they tell us our economy is doing great. Look how great the Dow is doing. Look how much it's jumping. Well, it's not hard to be jumping when it's controlled by the millionaires out there. They can control what goes up and down. They can control, oh, we're going to do this today. Easy to control, don't you think? When you've got the world's billionaires playing in it, so you can look like you're doing something good for humanity. Something easily manipulated. Sure, believe the hype. It's all good. It's sad that we can care more about animals than we can humanity. We can let people die. And you can say, they're out there trying to get those criminals off the street, the immigrants off the streets, those that are committing crimes. And I'm not saying there's not immigrants out there committing crimes. There are. But you know what? There is a lot more Americans out there committing crimes. Those same crimes, if not worse, than the immigrants. And I'm not talking per capita overall. I'm talking if you take the immigrant population and their criminals versus the American population and their criminals, the Americans are still going to win, hands down. We have devolved to a race of people who are so set in our ways and so set in our convictions that we're willing to hurt other people, that we're willing to take people's jobs. You don't like what someone's saying? Well, let's cancel them. Let's just take their jobs away because you don't agree with their personal opinions. Actors. Actors speak out in their personal lives about their personal opinions. And you're going to take away their jobs because you don't agree with their political beliefs? Trying to get a factory worker fired because he said, fuck off, you're protecting a pedophiles? That's what we're accepting? That's what we're okay with? I don't get it, guys. We're better than this. We can do better than this. I know we can do better than this. Sad, sad times. And now we're at war. We're back at war. Ultimate distraction from the Epstein files, don't you think? I mean, war we didn't need to be in? Just when the files are getting to the hottest boiling point, when more and more indisputable evidence is coming out? I watched a video this morning, and I posted it to my Facebook page, but it was talking about propaganda. God, propaganda. Look up propaganda, because it's exactly what is happening right now. We are going through brainwashing. When, I'll just briefly recap what I took from this video. When somebody is in power, and they have a lot of power, and they have a shady past, they know the shady past is going to come out eventually, and they've got to figure out a way to deal with it, because they can keep raising higher and higher and gaining more power, but eventually that pin's going to come and it's going to pop their bubble, and they're going to hopefully fall to the ground. That should be what happens. That should be the end of story. This video should be over and this should be done. But that's not what happens. When somebody with power needs to hide something, they take a different tactic. You can't just deny it and hope it goes away. So you flood it. You make so much stuff happen that people just can't take it. They can't sift through the information anymore. They can't decide what's fact, what's fiction, what's real. There's too much information out there. People are contradicting each other. One report says one thing, one report says another thing, the right and the left, and politics, and it's all fucking noise, guys. It's just to distract you and keep you focused over here and over there and over there, so that they can do their shady shit in the background or try to get away with the things that they have done. And they have done atrocities, people. Atrocities. There's so much information in those reports, and so much, even if half of it's true, even if just half of it's true, isn't that enough? Isn't that enough for us to take these people down? Yeah, shit's gonna fall. We're gonna go through rough times. But isn't that better than leaving people who are gonna prey on your children in power? Isn't that better than letting the people who hurt so many innocent people off? Tell me. I want to know. Is it better? I don't think it is. I don't think it is. We deserve better. The victims deserve better. Folks, we can do it. We can turn this around. We can show compassion. We can get Trump out of office. We can get his conspirators out of office. We can get the billionaires in jail. We can do this. But you need to put on your big girl panties. You need to step up and stop being quiet. You need to use your brain and sift through the information coming at you. You need to watch the live videos. You need to watch the president speaking himself, not what people are saying the president are saying. See what the president's saying himself and then judge what's happening. Because every time he says something, if he denies it, guess what? A couple weeks later, it's happening anyway. There are hundreds, thousands of documents of this happening where he has said one thing and then boom. Guess what? It happened anyway. You think he's joking about him not being president for a third term? You think he's not trying to make that happen any way possible? You think he's not trying to rig the system with all of this election bullshit? Voter fraud, the big worry in the United States. What, 3% voter fraud? And the people were caught? So it was taken care of? But, you know, that's our big concern. Let's restrict our rights as people. Let's make it harder for people to vote. No, there's no conspiracy there. It's fine. Don't worry, it's fine. The people who need to vote, they'll still be able to vote. Don't worry about it. It's so ridiculous, people. And while we're on the topic of voting and needing your documents, make sure your documents are in perfect order. When I went to get my real ID, I had to wind up going and getting another marriage license because my marriage license had been folded and had creases. So they couldn't clearly read all of the words. So I had to get a new marriage license. They're using every reason to make this difficult for you to get your IDs. Every possible roadblock and frustration they can put up in front of you to make this difficult for you, they're going to do it. It's going to happen. There's going to be so many people out there who are so frustrated by trying to get their IDs or the cost involved with trying to get their IDs and all the different documents and forms that they're having to provide, or, you know, people who were born in hospitals that were burned down and can't get their original birth certificates anymore. You know, we've been fighting to get Tyler's birth certificate because the hospital that he was born at in California is no longer in operation. It's impossible to get the documents that they're asking for. You have ways to validate who you are. In order to get your original documents, you had provided those documents at some point, right? Because you can't get the IDs without the documents. Yes, there's going to be people out there who are fake. There's con artists out there. We've got people for that. The FBI, CIA, they all have people for investigating fraud and, you know, using identity illegally. We've got people taking care of that. We don't need ICE terrorizing the streets and harming innocent people. We've been doing it for years, getting the bad immigrants off the streets while giving people who are just looking for a better life a better way to go. So, people, those are my thoughts for today. Why do we care more about what happens to animals than we do about people? I care about what happens to animals. I've been addicted. I've been crying. I felt it. But you know what? I felt those same emotions for the people in Minnesota and the people in Oregon and the people in California and the people in Chicago and the people who have been dealing with ICE already and the people who have been mistreated already. My heart's breaking for them, and I cry for them every time I see their stories. Do you? That's the question. So, until the next time, this is April with your Average Crusaders. Be kind. Love you guys.